Welcome to Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 35 years ago. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear thought-provoking and empowering interviews with wedding professionals who have found success in the industry. If you're a business-minded wedding pro who loves love, but also cares about their bottom line, buckle up and get ready to learn from a new industry expert each week. All right, so folks, we're going to welcome to our episode Julianne Smith from the Garter Girl. So Julianne, welcome.
Hello, welcome. No, welcome to me.
That's right. We got to welcome you. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, so today we're talking about planning a sabbatical in your business. So can you tell us just what is a sabbatical and how long can one of those last?
Well, clearly I need one, considering I welcomed you to your podcast. So for me, a sabbatical looks like every summer.
Okay.
I take a 3-month break.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's amazing. I take a 3-month break from production. I call it production in my business. But what I've learned over the years is that sabbatical means different things to different people, to different businesses, and it looks different from year to year. So for me, I kind of looked at the natural ebb and flow of my business and didn't realize what I was doing. Like there was a name for it because I've been doing this for 15 years now. But I know businesses that take sabbaticals over the winter break sort of holiday, that time between Thanksgiving and New Year's. That's a good time for a lot of people. Some people take sabbaticals every other sort of quarter or different quarters, or it just kind of looks different. And so for me, a sabbatical, like I said, I do June 1st to September 1st every year. And why that works for me is because my parents have a house in New Jersey at the beach. If any of your listeners are from the Jersey Shore, you will understand that that's a thing. And so people go to the shore for the summer. And so to kind of take my business on the road was not possible.
Yeah.
But how do I sustain my business and do
that
it?
was my question. So how can you do this? How can you take 3 months off?
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners are probably thinking that, oh, must be nice. And I get snarky comments all the time, even from potential clients. And they say things like, I can't believe you can do that during, busy season, during wedding season. And I could never do that in my business and things like that. But the truth is when you're in the wedding or an event space, it's always busy season. It's never not busy season. And so if you don't take the break will never happen.
That's a good point. And the other thing to consider too is wedding season is different. This is, when I was WIPA international president, the biggest education, I learned just as much as I was giving to that. But the biggest thing I learned is that wedding season is different for everyone across the country. So, Arizona, during the time that you're breaking, they're not doing weddings, because it's so hot down there in around Arizona, and even outside in Vegas, they're not doing outdoor weddings that time of year as well. Everything is moved indoor. So it's different. Everyone has a different season. It's winter time for some people. Maybe they don't do as much of weddings. So it's different for everyone, I think. So.
And if you're like me, so I'm on the product side. So I make a product. It's always busy season for me.
Yeah.
I don't have a downtime. There is no time where events are not happening because I say, oh, okay, a lot of my business is last minute. But then you guys know a lot of my business is the client who's like, I'm getting married in 2.5 years and this is exactly what I want. And so there is never, when you're on the product side, there's never a downtime.
Yeah.
And again, I always get these comments like, I can't believe you can do that during busy, because again, mine happens to be in summer. And it's not because I said, oh, this is the downtime. I just said, oh, this is what works with my life, right? I have
Yeah.
3 little kids. They're off school in the summer. They need me to be
Mom.
everything to them,
Yeah.
right? And so it just wasn't working. So I had to figure out a way, how do I do this business and have it sustained for 12 months, but sort of rest and recharge at some point, right? Because for me, the holiday time is not downtime either, right?
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
some people can take the break over the new year and I can't. So it kind of just depends. And I used to live in this like land of like, oh, it's busy season. But like, again, like I said, if you don't take the break, no one's giving it to you, especially when you own your own business. So for me, what that looks like is like I take a break from June 1st to September 1st.
Hmm.
Now, the biggest advice that I always give everybody when it comes to any kind of sabbatical or break or whatever you're doing, you got to give yourself a buffer on the front end and on the back end.
Oh, okay. And
Like,
why?
because you're going to need time to like get into the break. You can't
Okay.
just prep. You can't just have the break because
Okay.
you need that like because the point of the sabbatical and the point of the break is to actually take the break. But if you are spending time sort of trying to get into it and wrap up loose ends, but also at the same time do your business, it's stressful even talking about it. So I'll give you an example. So what I do is I do June 1st because that's an easy round number, but I'm actually not leaving town until June 23rd.
Okay.
When my kids get out of school. That's
Okay.
right. My kids go fully into June.
I was going to say,
But
geez, that's late.
I know that's another podcast for another day. But so I have 3 weeks where I'm not taking any new orders, but I am wrapping up
Oh, I
those.
see how you do it.
Right. So I don't
Yeah.
take custom deposits until I stop taking them June 1. I stop taking orders June 1. And that gives me 3 weeks to kind of wrap up what I'm doing. It
Yeah.
gives me 3 weeks to like, it gives me like some breathing room.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like a sabbatical is like you got to get out of town, but you got to give yourself the break to kind of catch up. So that's 3 weeks to kind of get it together. But as far as like my clients know, I am out of the office, right? Coming
Yeah.
June 1. And it does give them that, what's the word?
Like
It
sense of
gives,
urgency to get their stuff.
there it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sense of urgency to do the
Okay.
booking, to make the decision, to do what they're going to do, because otherwise, you know, they can't get the product until after September. And so it's nice from that perspective because it gets my clients to get motivated and make decisions and do what they need to do. But anyway, so I give myself that buffer to kind of ease in so that by the time I go to leave town, I'm like, first of all, I'm good and stressed. I'm good and wound tight. But it gives myself a little bit of break to kind of like do what I need to do. Because I think sometimes I used to just say, okay, you know, stop taking orders June 22nd. And that just like wasn't, what happens is I would go to the sabbatical even more stressed out. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So the buffer is key. And same on the back end too.
I was just going to ask about the back
Yeah.
end. What's the buffer look like coming
Yes.
back?
So the back end is, I think I'm coming back into, I think my kids start school the 29th, which means I will be back in town the midnight, the 28th, screaming. If you guys hear screaming from, you know, Washington, D.C., it will be me having to leave the beach and come home. But then I won't start taking orders or turn this kind of switch back on until September 1st. So that gives me like a week or so to get back in the office, put everything away, unpack, like get myself together, kind of see what I'm dealing with, and gives myself some space. The problem is when you start making commitments or things that you need to have done immediately, it's like you just undid all the break that you just did. right? Like you're right back. I always say to myself, if I don't take the rest and relaxation and come back, like, if I don't relax and come back just as stressed when I left, like, what's the point? And so you really have to make sure that you give yourself that time to kind of come back in. And it has to do with like the commitments that you make and the commitments that you make to your clients. And those expectations that you set. And when you're the business owner, you get to set the expectation. And so giving yourself another week or 2 weeks to exceed their expectations, that's going to be better for you. Because what's the difference if I say, oh well, I'm going to be back August 29th or I'm going to be back September 1st? Like, it doesn't matter to them. Just as you say, I'm going to have your product when I get back in the office,
Yeah.
what time, and then I can't. I literally cannot do it, and now they're upset. But if I
Yeah.
had just said something a little bit later, because you know how clients are, they're going to take
Yeah.
every last milli inch of your energy.
Oh, 100,000%. So,
Yeah.
all right. So how does someone know they need a sabbatical?
When you
Because
start
I'm already in my head thinking I need one right now. So
Yeah. I mean, listen, I went through years where it was like, I'm taking a break or I'm going to have a breakdown.
Mhm.
And if you start resenting your clients, resenting your business, if you feel you just that overall stressed out, my biggest piece of advice here is like, take the break before you're going to be forced to take the break. If you're even thinking about it, if you're even thinking, then yes, that is the time when you need to have it. The last thing you want to do is leave the business altogether or just completely lose it, and then you're forced to take a break.
Yeah.
And so if you have that break coming up that you can look forward to, that provides you immediate relief in the moment. Because you can say to you, like, for me, as stressed out as I am right now, I'm like, okay, it's coming. And I can, those things that I'm like, I can put this off. What do I have to do next? What do I have to do right now? Like, what is happening right in this moment? What's due tomorrow? It gives you a little bit of relief.
Yeah, you have your eye on the prize is what, like kind of, I remember during, coming back from COVID in 2021, I'm in California, so we were really shut down and we didn't start coming back until the end of February of 2021. So we went almost an entire year with nothing, so it was the pent up trying to get everything in. We were doing wedding, I kept joking. We were like Las Vegas. We had them during the week. We had weddings they just kept coming. And as we got further away, from that kind of March date, people got more and more comfortable doing events, and therefore the demand got even crazier. And so we went 47 days with at least one wedding a day. And yeah, it was intense around here. And it was just like, I felt like it was like, next, who's next? All right, next. But it was kind of crazy because we have a timeshare in Hawaii. And we were going to spend Thanksgiving in Hawaii. So that's my eye on the prize was, all right, only 13 more days until, I get to lay by the beach for, even though it was only, we were only going for nine nights, but it was just like, my eye was on the prize. So,
yeah, you need it. You need that, especially when you're the business owner, right? You're the marketing director, you're the HR department, you're the, the one actually doing and producing and servicing clients. Like, when you're all the things, you need time to catch up mentally. And then you also need time to do all those other things that you can't do when you're on a sabbatical. And, I think sometimes for me, I get a lot of pushback sometimes from people that are on the service-based side. As they say, well, your product, you can just take that break. I'm like, really? Because, I'm also shipping and producing product, and I have to sell, I don't know, 100 times more product to make what you make in one weekend.
Yeah.
And so there's differences in every business. And for me, it happens to look like 3 months, which actually, if you're really talking about it, I'm not there. We just talked about the software spaces.
Yeah.
It's not a full 3 months.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be 9 weeks. Sometimes it can be a week. It's that point that you can look forward to is a break, a break, a planned break. Now, some people have like very purist, like sabbatical is I'm, literally doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times because my sabbatical, if you want to call it, is so long, I do have periods where I give myself time to literally do nothing. But I also have times to do those things in my business that I cannot otherwise get to, right?
Yeah.
Like I've got a mile long list of the things that I would like to get to this summer. I have some,
Oh,
yeah, I have some things that are flagged like must do, and then I have some things that are like would be nice. Um, but so it's like when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the thick of it, when you're in on day like 30 of 47 events in a row, that's
yeah.
not the time to like,
No.
rewrite the email sequence and to schedule the Pinterest and to rewrite the marketing copy on your. No. When you're stressed out, it feels like everything's really important. But when you can say, okay, I'm going to put that in my sabbatical bucket and we're going to get to that
Ah.
later, and then you come back to it
So you
when
use your sabbatical then you're also working on your business, but it's also you're in a headspace where you can put some really good thought and take some time into create new processes, procedures, or,
totally.
whatever it is. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
I
I
have
never
a
even thought about that.
well, so for you were talking about your trip to Hawaii. That was like a
Yeah.
break, right?
Yeah.
And that's important, and we need to do those kinds of things. So like I said, sabbaticals look different for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, And I think there's this concept of that everything has to be like vacation to Hawaii and my feet are up and I'm doing nothing. But to me, that's not sustainable, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, I have those times where I am, and I do make sure that I do take that time. But when
Hmm.
I find, I don't know if you found when you come back from vacation, when I come back from vacation, I am like rested and my brain is ready to like do the thing. And so
Yeah.
that's when I can have like when I've had that clarity and that break, then I'm like, okay, time to like rewrite the website copy or time to do that thing that I've been putting off and can't do when I'm constantly serving clients. And so
Yeah.
it's really kind of paying attention to like the ebb and flow of your business. So yes, I do like check email on when I'm on my sabbatical and I do work. It's like you work in your business, not on your business. I don't know which
Yeah.
one it is. But basically when I'm not serving
Yeah.
clients, I can actually set myself up to serve them better when I'm back.
Yeah, even when I'm in Hawaii, I'm just kind of running through my email real quick because it's habit. But it also, if I don't, my brain is like wondering what's going on. So I just take like 10 minutes in the morning to just kind of clean out my email real quick. And if there's anything important, then I'll forward it on to someone else to take care of, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But that allows you to then relax for the rest of the day,
yeah, 100%.
right? And
Yeah,
if you're sitting there stressed out and wondering, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? Like, what the heck kind of break is that?
yeah, yeah, that's true.
So if it takes you 10, 15 minutes to triage the inbox, so then you're like, I can relax for the next 6 hours. To
Yeah,
me, that's worth it. I just think there's too much like black and white. Sabbatical must look like this. Break, vacation must look like this. And it's not the case.
yeah. I think as small business owners, we're never off. Like even could be at wherever we are, out to dinner or whatever. And if the little thing dings, we're gonna look because one, we're curious. We got to know what's going on. And so it's hard. Some people can really shut it down. Some people can't. And I think it's different for everyone. So
Yeah, and for me though, I'm able to kind of shut it down in those micro moments throughout the day because I'm saying, I will. I know that I have time to kind of get to it and deal with it. I
yeah,
guess.
that's good. So what do you have to do? I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but like what are the real big process of getting ready to like shut things down and to go on your sabbatical?
Boy, I'll tell you what I love the most, and that is the email automations.
Mm,
They are so sophisticated now that I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years and it just keeps getting better and better and better. It's really kind of thinking through your process and where your client would be and what would get them to kind of book with you,
Okay.
but then be patient on the back end. And
Okay.
it's for me, it's the email automation, and I can tell you a little bit about how I handle it. Um, so for me, because I am a product, for the summer, I sell out all the sample inventory and just like products that I have sitting around because, throughout the year you're doing stuff for photo shoots, you make something and then you realize, oh, that was wrong. Got it. So you kind of set it in the summer bucket. So I do a sample sale while I sell out of all that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
But that is all handled through email automation, right? So
Okay.
you would come to my website, you'd say, oh, the summer sale is happening, and you can get the discount code to get a further discount. But how do you get that code? You got to enter your email. And then
Oh,
that sends you the follow. If you don't purchase, it sends you up, follow up, follow up, follow up until you do purchase or you unsubscribe. So there's those folks. So I'm selling out that inventory. For the folks that can actually wait and they know what they want, I do a pre-sale on
hmm.
orders. Yes. So if your wedding is after, I think it's like September 15th, because again, that gives me like 3 weeks to make it when I get home. Um, Again, all handled through email automation. It's like you purchase it now and it's all handled through automation. Now, anyone who's custom, you can take care of your deposit and then that puts you front of the line when I return. Again, all handled through email automation.
Hmm.
And so for your customers that are service-based businesses, that's the kind of thing you can kind of handle through email automation. Okay, we're on a break right now. Here's a little video from me. Here's what it looks like. Just there's like a lot of different ways that you can handle things. You could even do, I'm taking calls on Fridays only, right? You can do certain things, and again, a lot of it can be handled and booked through automations.
Yeah.
Think about your process and how it would look and what your customer is looking for.
Yeah. It seems like if you take a little time on the front end to set all that up, it frees yourself up way, so much more during the middle and the end, so to speak.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
also plan while you're in the one, you plan for the next one, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going like this whole idea of a pre-sale was something that came up a few years ago, believe it or not. I think this is maybe the third summer that I've been doing the pre-sale.
Hmm.
Because, you have people that come to you in July and they're like, oh, my wedding isn't until December or March, but they're ready to like buy.
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
no, 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 come back to me in September. Well, they never came back.
Yeah. True.
So you learn a little bit each time, and each sabbatical, each break looks different each time, and it just keeps getting better and better and better every single time.
What do you use for email automation? I'm curious.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my website is on Shopify.
Okay.
So I use an email system called Klaviyo. Starts with a
Okay.
K, Klaviyo, which if you're not on Shopify, I'm sorry to the Klaviyo people, I would not use it. It is so complicated. It's really complicated, but it works really well with Shopify.
Oh, I
Um,
gotcha.
so that's the way I use it. But for my other sides of my business, I use MailChimp
Oh,
for
okay.
yeah, so I have a marketing agency where we handle the Pinterest and the blogging for lots of different clients. So for that one, I use MailChimp and that works really well. You can do a lot of, they call them journeys through there.
Hmm.
And then I have another like niche website business and I just use the email through Squarespace
Oh, okay. And it
because
works?
it's one login and I don't
Oh.
get another password. But I've used ConvertKit. I mean, I think they're all really the same. Like I said, everything's getting better and better. And so they're all competing with each other now.
Yeah.
One of my clients was, having me look over their stuff through Dubsado. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot you can do with Calendly and, all these different things where you can, so much of it can be handled through automation and you don't feel as the client like you're being automated.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's tough as the business owner because it's so automated, but your client doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And I get this comment from people all the time. They're like, "Thank you so much, like for your tips. I just love getting your emails." And they think I'm like literally writing
Sitting
them.
there.
And if you are you when you're setting them up, like you're being you, you're being personable, you're just trying to, then that comes across in the email, right? I do a
Yeah.
lot of videos, like I record them on Loom and I dump them in an email. People love that stuff.
Yeah. And it's really simple because you do it once and it's set up and, you probably refresh them every so often and go from there.
Yeah. I'm just like for the summer email, hey, I'm on a break right now. Like love
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
And this is what I'm happening. This is my process. Maybe like I said, you want to take calls every other week. Like, hey, get on my calendar for, I'm taking calls on Friday. I really want to talk to you and this is how it works and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do while you're on your sabbatical?
Oh my gosh, go to the beach. Go to the beach. It makes me every year fall back in love with my business.
Oh,
I
okay.
really love that because by May, I'm hating and resenting everybody.
Yeah.
My clients, my family, like myself. I'm like, rah. But by like mid-August, I'm ready to get back. I'm ready to get back to my business again. And that is such an amazing feeling to be fired up, to have my creativity reignited, if you will, kind
Yeah.
of every year. And listen, I do take little breaks throughout the year, go on vacations. I do a friend of mine in the industry, she calls them workcations. I've been experimenting with workcations every quarter where I
Oh,
go, yeah, yes, this one is genius too. So I go away every quarter and work on my business, do those little things.
oh,
I'm
okay.
interested to see this year how my summer sabbatical looks, having done all these workcations. And I will be doing a workcation while I'm on sabbatical.
Okay. Do you go to workcation with other people or just yourself?
Okay, good question. So
Okay.
the last two quarters, quarter one and quarter two, I have done them with other people.
Okay.
But we've had like strict, like, this is what we're doing. These are our goals. Sit across the table from me and hold me accountable.
Okay.
And we just work. We get it done. We're there to bounce ideas off of. And then this one that I'm going to do this summer is just going to be me.
Okay.
I'm just going to I might actually come back here to my house at home and just like put my head down for 2 days and just
Uh,
get some things done so that when I'm back with my family, I'm
checked in and
a
ready
little
to
more
go.
relaxed.
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
get so anyway, it'll be interesting. But yes, to the workcation. This was a friend in the industry taught me this. She's been doing this for years. But she goes by herself. So she goes to a hotel for 3 days. And we're really good friends. And like she's like, you're not invited. No one's invited. Like, and this is how she handles. This is what sabbatical means for her, right? So she
Yeah.
takes these breaks every quarter where she does all the things that she can't do, right? So she schedules the blog posts, she schedules the things, and she answers all the emails from her staff that have just been sitting in her inbox, and she rewrites the HR documents, and she, just all those things that you just don't have time for, right? I think
Yeah.
like, applying for that new credit card that you haven't had a minute, like setting up like, auto pay on the thing and just all that stuff that if you sat down and did it, would take you 20 minutes, but when you're in the thick of it, takes like
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah, it really does. It just
Yeah.
Yeah, because people will have they always say what you have this big monster to do list, and people are just constantly pushing things forward, 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 and the list just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But that a workcation makes sense because then you can just cut that list and get it in half, and what do you really need to get done and what's important, and yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that. I've never heard that term. I'm gonna
Yeah.
steal that idea.
Yeah. So she literally takes her desktop computer from her office
Oh wow,
to the hotel. Yeah, this is serious stuff. And she has like a plan. It's like room service. She makes a couple spa appointments.
wow,
But it's like she's there to work. She's not there to just like dink away on her phone and screw around on social media. She is like, if I have my desktop, like I'm doing the thing, and that's what we're doing. And
yeah.
I always thought, oh, I don't need to do that. I got my summer sabbatical, no big deal. But I don't know. I was really found myself super stressed in quarter 1 of this year, and a friend said, "Listen, why don't I come down there? We'll get a hotel room and we'll knock it out over the weekend." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to plan this every quarter." And we just did another one, and that was really great too. So it's like I said, it's the combination of it all, but it's also just having like I can shut myself down from work for 2 days, 3 days, 3 weeks, and like it's not all going to fall apart.
Yeah, yeah, no. And
It's actually going to be stronger in the end.
oh yeah, because well, and I find when I'm here, like that's why I always love when I travel, like I'm on the airplane because I have no one bothering me, so I can kind of get through some of those items that you kind of talk about. But it's because when you're here at work, it's like that people are walking in the door, they have questions, and then next thing you've planned. I like to time block a lot, so I like to try to block out my time, and I find that a lot of it gets hijacked by my employees or clients' problems and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not able to be as productive as on some days as I wish I would be because shit happens. So
Well, time blocking is a challenge for me, and I don't know if it's just me, but it's like I say, okay, I'm in an hour for this project or thing, but really it's a 3 hour project or 4 hour. It's like things always take way longer than I expect. How do you handle that?
so the tip is I've learned over the year is you work on it until the time's up, you stop, and then if you still have more work to do, then you reschedule it in another day and you keep going. So it can't be something that's due that day, obviously. So you're working, as long as you're working a week plus ahead of yourself, you can really do it. And I find when I work on things, because I have ADHD and I have a hard time focusing on things, but I find if I block the time, work on it is what I scheduled, and then I move on to the next thing, and then I'm not like whatever was the last thing that I was wanting to get to that day, I'll actually touch on it, get to it in some capacity. And then at the end of the day, I just re through and reschedule my day based on what appointments and what I have going the following day. And it's a habit, and I think once you built a habit, it's pretty easy to accomplish. So.
Yeah, I think my challenge is walking away in the moment, saying, okay, well, my time is up.
Yeah, I have a really good friend of mine, Britt, used to do. She used to do it to music, so she would have different playlists. She had a 30-minute, 45, and a 60-minute playlist, and so she would put on whatever playlist, and she would work on something for that amount of time. And she knew when that playlist was up, it's time to move on to something else. So,
Oh boy.
yeah, everyone can do it totally different. So,
Yeah. Like I said, I love the sabbatical because it gets me out of my routine. It switches up the routine, but it gives me that creative break, that brain space break. Because when you're in the middle trying to grind out a project, like you said, you could block off an hour, but if you're just in the middle of it and you're kind of burnt out already, it's going to take you that much longer. And I
yeah.
think as these creative businesses, like we've got to really protect our creative energy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, it's the one thing that we don't do enough of. Like we don't protect that. So
Well, I'll tell
yeah,
you a quick answer to your question. You asked me a little bit ago, how do you know you need a break? And if you're sitting here listening, thinking, I could never do that in my business, you need a break. Like,
100%.
you are one of these people. If you are sitting here thinking, that must be nice for her, that must be nice for Kevin, going to Hawaii, like, you need a break.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's what I look at it as family time. So I don't do a whole sabbatical like you do, but I do vacations, and I use my vacations as sabbaticals. But I'm going to work on that workcation thing that you talked about, because that seems like a genius.
Genius.
Yeah. Because especially because there's time, even like I could see me taking, one or two staff members with me, and then we just lock ourselves up somewhere and just get everything done that we don't, put our out of office on and don't answer the phone and just get her done. So.
Yeah, when you put the out of office, when you stop answering, like, that's what I'm saying. That's with me with the taking of the orders. When I stop doing that, that's when the work gets done.
Yeah.
And if you're continually serving while you're trying to do, it's impossible to catch up.
Yeah. So
workation.
So when you come back from a sabbatical and you flip the switch back on, like, what are some tips? Like, it seems I'll be honest, it seems a little overwhelming. Like, all of a sudden, like, the floodgates are going to open, and next thing you know, you got, for yourself is probably, hundreds of orders sitting there ready to go, because everyone's pent up, ready to go. And, so there's some tips on coming back from a sabbatical.
Yeah. Well, so the buffer we talked about, but also it comes down to managing their expectations.
Okay.
And you always want to under promise and over deliver.
Over deliver. Yep.
So for me, mine has to do with timing. I really push the timing out, and I say, if your wedding is after September 15th, if your wedding is after October, like, this is for you. And I really try to say, I don't say, item shipping like the week of August 29th. No, it's like shipping the week of August 1st or October 1st. I give myself so much time. Yeah. And let me tell you the other thing that it does, because as we were talking about, clients will take, every inch and then some. It gives me a break to service those last minute people that happen to be in September. And I'm able to say, well, for you, I can do it.
Yeah.
Because I've pushed off, November and December. Like, I try to really give myself as much time as humanly possible. Like, for me, I have on my website, if you were just to order from me now, it's like 2 weeks. But I know that I don't need 2 weeks. But sometimes I do need the full 2 weeks. So I really try to, like, give myself, like, grace and then some.
Yeah.
Because the clients, when you give them a date, they're going to be back at you. So if you just push it farther than you think, and what makes you feel kind of a little uncomfortable, and then you exceed that expectation with them, they always love you.
And 2 weeks seems reasonable, when you're ordering something. Yeah. It's not like it's, and then you might get excited if it shows up in, 5, 6, 7 days,
Which it 99% of the time does.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I need that relief. I need the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't always. And so the same with coming back from the sabbatical. It's like, I'm coming back, but this is what you can expect. The biggest thing, and this is to answer your question about some things you can do, is you really do have to communicate. You have to over communicate. So what does that look like? So on the front end, starting in, I think I started in April of this year, at the signature in my email, it's like, summer break is happening.
Oh, smart.
Yes, summer break is, what does this mean? Like, and sometimes I'll do a blog post where I kind of describe it. Sometimes I can just kind of put it there. It just kind of depends. Like, so for me, any time of year when you make a custom design request, you got to go, we were talking about the email notification. It's in there. I don't care if you're making your request in November or October. There's a big bolded letters. We take a summer break typically between, June 1 and September 1st. What does that mean? It means that if you're getting married in July, this is what you need. So, like, I am constantly communicating. It is like, so everybody knows, so that when the client, came to me in January, I gave them the information, but then they sat on it for 6 months. And then they come back to me in July saying, okay, now I'm ready. I'm like, I can't. So it's like everybody who comes to me knows it's happening.
Yeah.
It's when clients feel blindsided or they feel like they didn't know that they get upset. And for as many clients as I've had, oh, it must be nice, during your busy season. I get more clients that say to me, good for you. Like, this is great. And they are very respectful of the time. And they are always happy for me, and they're supportive, and they think it's great. And it's when they don't feel communicated to, or they feel blindsided.
Yeah.
So my biggest tip is just, especially when you're in the service-based industry, is like, no one minds a vacation. No one minds a break. They mind when they don't know about it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm going on a cruise, and I've been telling for the first time, we're a big family, about 16 of us. I mean, not a big, I have a small family, but there's a bunch of us from our family going on this cruise, and I've been telling all my clients before and after, like, I'm going to be gone, and this is when I've been communicating with everyone to set that expectation. If they do try to reach out to me while I'm gone, they're not going to get a hold of me, and they don't need to freak out because they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then no one cares. They take vacations themselves. They take breaks too. It's just they don't know. And so for you, I would even consider for your vacations, giving yourself the buffer day. Yeah. As far as your clients are concerned, the buffer day on the front. When's your break? I'm actually leaving on this date, but for as far as you know, this is my day out of the office. And same with coming back. This is my day in the office. Because I'll tell you what, if you say your date back in the office is of September 1, they're going to expect an answer on September 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I don't do, and I think I'm gonna build into my vacations is the buffer day on the front end and the back end, because it makes complete sense. Because I'm usually there'll be times that I'm working until 12, 1 o'clock at night, and then we're on the 5 o'clock flight out to get wherever we're going on vacation, and I'm exhausted the first day of vacation. So
and you're still trying to handle the emails and everything you didn't get to first day of vacation or second day of vacation. I bet you if you did buffer on the front and buffer on the end of one day, I bet you in a couple years it's going to be 2 or 3. But you just give yourself just one day, you would be able to start the relaxation a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because you weren't trying to serve clients and prepare for the vacation at the same time. It's like the buffer day, or in my case, week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on what you're doing. The buffer is so, so important, and it allows you to take that break. Maybe you wouldn't need that 10 to 15 minute email check-in if you were able to kind of wrap it up tight before you got on the plane.
Yeah, 100%. Wow. So much to think about. So much we learned today here, So I'm blown away, and it's a mindset thing. I think where, you just got to think differently and then 100% go for it. So we're getting close to our time. So anything you want to leave us with, wrap us up with when it comes to sabbaticals, other than do it?
Yeah. Other than if you're sitting here thinking you couldn't do it, you need to just do it. And listen, you need to do it, make the mistake, screw it up. Because otherwise, if you sit in this, like, I can't do that, my business is this, snowflake unicorn that can't, and my clients are, so demanding, you need to go ahead and plan one, do it, screw it up, or make all the mistakes. And then, like I said, mine comes back and I'm changing it every year. Every year it looks a little bit different. But you have to just do it. Try it out, put it on the calendar, and you'll be surprised if you say, okay, I'm going to take 1 week, between Christmas and New Year's. It's like, it's on the calendar that way you can plan for it. What you don't want is, and what you think you can't do, which is like completely lose it. And within 24 hours, you're like on a break. Right. Yeah. So if you can plan for it, let your clients know, you'll be surprised what you have the capacity for.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So one question I always ask everyone before we wrap up, and I know you're on the product side, so this might be a little different for you, but what's your favorite part of a wedding?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I feel like it for me. It's changed over the years. I've had different.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Once I had kids, it changed for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess probably like the sort of heirloom side, like the way that people incorporate their whole families as they're kind of building a new family.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was looking at a wedding of a client the other day, and they had, instead of flower girls, they had flower grandmothers.
Yeah, isn't that cute?
I love that. And it's like, I just love the unique ways that people incorporate their families, you know, the new families, the old families,
and everybody's family looks different now. Yeah. You know,
I love to see kind of the heirloom kind of keepsake part of it.
I love that there's not, my big thing I keep telling all my clients, there's no rules anymore at weddings.
No.
You know? Yeah. So it's just like, it's what's important to you, and that's what we're going to do, you know, and if it's not important to you, we move on and we find what is important to you, and that's what we're going to hit on. So,
well, and because everybody has something that's important to them, they just might not know it right away.
Yeah. Until they get through the process. They don't know.
Exactly.
All right. So how does someone get in contact with you?
Ooh.
Oh,
yes.
Wait. With that being said, come September 1st.
Right? No. Exactly. So, my Instagram is the Julianne Smith.
Okay.
Because when your last name is Smith, it's
you got to be the
right. So, or my website's juliannesmith.com.
Okay.
I managed to get that one, but that was 15 years ago. Just connect with me online. I love a pre-schedule. So don't feel like you can't connect with me if it's between June 1st and September. I love we were talking about the automations and things like that. So that, and even for the social media scheduling, I love that too. So.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business podcast, brought to you by Wedding IQ. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. Please get in touch with me if you have a topic you would like for me to cover, or if you are in the area of your business you're struggling with, let us know. We'll be happy to help. I encourage you to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review. It helps others find our podcast so they can learn from our guests too. Thanks again for listening.